Today, I have some key Superman highlights and reactions from John Campea, who attended CinemaCon. Let's have a look and listen.
They showed us basically the beginning of the movie, which is how the trailer starts, with the world of Hoth, and then Superman, like an Imperial probe droid, crashing down into the snow. And that's how this scene starts. And we get him coughing and wheezing and, of course, whistling for Krypto, and Krypto comes. But that's where they don't show you everything in the trailer from that scene. Because what happens in this extended scene is that Krypto comes, and the first thing Krypto wants to do, and Ann and I have a dog that is just like this in Dune, who we just recently adopted.
Our stray
dog that we adopted. So Krypto now in the trailer it shows Krypto showing up and Superman going, "Home, take me home," and he grabs the cape and takes him home. No. That's not what happens. What happens is he shows up and he's just all excited to see Superman, so he's jumping around and pounding his paws on him like our dog does in the morning when she wants attention, boom, and biting his foot and dragging him around and Superman is screaming in agony. And then finally the dog realizes that something is wrong. But the dog I was laughing hysterically.
Oh, everybody was. It was so funny.
And the whole theater was
so unexpected.
And so that was the extent of the thing. Then he gets them back, and then as Krypto's dragging him off, the camera pans up to you see the horizon, and the fucking Fortress of Solitude comes out from the ground.
Oh, wow.
With the crystals and everything, and then they get to this giant door where the
classic S on the door,
yep,
the
right symbol of the House of L shows up right there on the door, and Krypto just and then the door opens for Krypto. They go in, the robots come in, and I guess they're the housekeepers.
The Superman robots.
And they were hilarious.
They were hilarious.
Who was it?
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk doing the voice of the robot butler was hilarious. So they come in and they go, Superman, and they come in and they pick him up and they take him to a medical facility in the fortress, and they set him up in this thing where they're going to amplify the sun and put him right in this thing.
And you see that he's got a broken bone, and he's...
Oh, yeah, his intestines are ruptured and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So they put him in this chair, and the robots all start to hold him down. It's like, okay, hold him down. And then this door opens so the sun comes in, but then these 8 magnifying glasses fall into place to magnify the sun. And then the shot goes exterior as the entire Fortress of Solitude starts to rotate in the snow.
It was so cool.
So cool. It was so cool.
To get to the sun.
Oh.
And then when the sun hits him,
it was awesome.
Yeah, they're holding him down.
But how that actually relates to what everyone has seen in the trailer, where he's actually holding one of those robots, it connected for me that part is going to be unbelievably sad.
Oh yeah, one of the robots died. The robots were killed.
Just from that scene, we saw his relationship with those robots. That part, when we get to that part, it's going to be incredibly sad.
Well, the characterization, those robots are hysterical,
right?
Because they talk about how they want to play with them. They talk about Krypto wanting to play with them, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't care about him."
Well, okay, so the direct line was great because after they cut to another scene where now Superman's back on his feet. He's okay. But he's walking into the Fortress of Solitude. He's like, Krypto! And he realizes Krypto has wrecked the place.
Just destroyed it.
James Gunn earlier had told the story about when he adopted this dog, Ozu. He adopted the dog, Ozu. It's like the dog would just totally destroy his house. Just went around and destroyed everything.
Bite his feet.
So he bite his feet. So he put that into the movie. So Superman comes back in the Fortress of Solitude and Krypto has wrecked everything in the Fortress of Solitude. And it turns to the robot. It's I told you to keep an eye on him. He goes, well, we tried to tell him to behave, but then he realized that as a non-sentient robot, we do not care whether he lives or dies. So he stopped paying attention to us. And it was and then Superman's trying to leave, and Krypto's biting his feet. And then when he finally is about to leave, but before he takes off, Krypto's been this big pain in the ass, trying to bite his feet, get him to stay. When you realize that Superman's about to leave, Krypto starts to whimper and cry. I'm like, that's our dog. That's our dog that does that.
What I love about the difference between the Super Pets Krypto and James Gunn's Krypto Super Pets, it was an alien that happened to be in a dog form. I believe in James Gunn. It's a dog.
Yeah.
That happens to be an alien. That's the difference. It really is a dog, and I think it's going to work in order for us to relate to Superman, because that's always been my problem with Superman. He was so much of everything that I'm not, that I can't relate to him.
Well, that's what
Okay?
everybody. That's
Right.
always been the kind of the knock, that he's such a god character.
And one other thing I noticed is the beginning scene when he falls and he's like in despair, he's hurt. It's still bright. The scene is still bright.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't
it's
get into a
colorful.
somber,
Yeah.
dark theme. And this is what I'm gonna love about this movie, as there's always hope with the brightness, right?
Well,
Even
that's-
if you're tough.
It also, I think you hit the nail on the head. Everything that happened in this harks back to a different time, like the 40s, the 50s, when Superman was this more innocent
Right.
character. And all the stuff we saw, the Superman robots, right out of the old DC comics. But when the Fortress of Solitude started to spin, I'm like, okay, it's an epic fantasy. Like the same way that, in Lord of the Rings, you'd go to Mordor and you'd see the mines of Moria where the orcs lived. It was gigantic and huge. But we've never seen the Fortress of Solitude turn.
Yeah.
And they've literally got these like you go to an ophthalmologist in 1890 and they would put down the multiple glass, to examine you, but it's multiple magnifying glasses to get the most intense light. Because it comes up out of the ground when somebody calls for it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was because I always thought it was never appealing. Like Superman's by himself, it's a Fortress of Solitude. Why would he go there?
I can't
Now
wait.
you know.
I can't wait for everyone to see that. That blew me away.
It was
I
so
never,
good.
Ever thought of it to go? It's just a simple idea, right? But we never seen it look like that. Like, it was so great.
They
The
gave,
Fortress-
they gave functionality to the fortress.
Yeah, and the Fortress of Solitude's now like the Starship Enterprise that just doesn't go anywhere.
Make it so.
You just want to go hang out there.
Make it so. Make it so.
It's the
It's
super
called
headquarters.
The Fortress of Solitude.
And then when it opens, and then the Superman
Oh,
symbol
yeah.
actually lights up, because all it is just the shape, like blank. And then when it gets that,
And then
that-
the-
I have to
that's
tell you,
the-
all of that, everything we saw, just gave me joy.
yeah.
That's what was missing. And it was that big fantasy joy that you only get in The Lord of the Rings and you only get in Narnia, where they've totally backed away from that in modern superhero movies. There's no overt fantasy. We have to make it all realistic. We have to believe. No, this leans right into it.
Till next time, as always, look up, not back, take care of yourselves and others,